The United States has the largest age gap in voter turnout among advanced democracies. About half of young people in the US do not vote, which means that they are underrepresented in politics. So educators, scholars, and policymakers often recommend civic education as a solution to this low voter turnout. And recently, some states have implemented a civics test policy, hoping that this policy prepares students as knowledgeable, active, and engaged citizens. This policy is called the Civics Education Initiative. This policy requires high school students to take or pass a civics test as a condition for high school graduation. This policy has become quite popular since 2016 when Arizona State first adopted it. And as of 2022, 18 states have implemented it. However, we did not know if this type of policy worked. Supporters often argue that if we implement this policy, students would learn civics facts, basic civics facts at school, and they would have higher civic knowledge and engagement. However, some scholars warned that just memorizing basic facts about government and history wouldn't help students become engaged citizens. However, again, we did not know if this type of policy worked because there was no single empirical study that examined the effect of the civics test policy on young people's civic engagement in general. So Dr. Majid Gopalan and I empirically examined the policy effect on young people's voter turnout, which is one of important and common form of civic engagement. So to do this, we used data on self-reported voting behaviors of 18 to 22-year-old U.S. citizens from 1996 to 2020 from a nationally representative survey. And our data includes more than 36,000 U.S. citizens nationwide. And we used quasi-experiment designs such as difference in difference and event study to estimate the causal effects of the civics test policy. And we found that the civics test policy did not improve youth voter turnout, at least in the short term, which was actually not that surprising for many people. We examined this policy effect so many different ways to make sure our finding is robust. We kept finding the same null result, which means that the civics test policy did not improve youth voter turnout. So what are the takeaways? It is important for policymakers to understand when it comes to improving youth voter turnout, like traditional approaches to civic education that emphasize memorizing civic facts doesn't seem to be working. So we may want to change our focus of civic education from memorizing basic facts to learning and practicing actual civic skills. And lastly, it is important to mention that voting participation is not the only form of civic engagement that matters to society, nor is it the only goal of the civics test policy. So future research should examine the effects of civics test policy on civic knowledge and other forms of civic engagement, as well as its long-term effects.